right, so here is page 13 from the Percent Math Pack. So we're still working on finding the percent. And so if you take a look at number 1, what percent is each of the following? So this is where you number 1. 18 of 25. So remember, to find the percent, what percentage is 18 of 25? So 18, this is step 1, divided by 25 will get you a decimal. Now remember, you can do an outside calculation or you can use your calculator. 18 divided by 25 equals 0.72, or 72 hundredths. So that's step 1. Step 2 is where you take your 72 hundredths and you multiply by 100 to get your percentage. So you take your decimal and you move it 2 spots to the right to make it bigger. So you got 0.72 times 100 is 72%. So 18 is 72% of 25. So that's how you do numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. You take the number, you divide it by the other number. You get a decimal, you times that decimal by 100 to get your percent. All right, if you take a look at number 7 all the way to number 12, it says that you need to calculate each percent to the nearest tenth. That means there's some rounding involved. What this means is when you're doing your division question, there's going to be more than 2 numbers after the decimal. When there's more than 2 numbers after the decimal, you're going to need to do some rounding. That means your percentage is probably going to have a decimal in it as well. So let's take a look at an example of number 7. Number 7 is 24 of 96. So remember your steps. 24 divided by 96. Because 24 is what percent of 96? So 24 divided by 96. Go back to your calculator. 24 divided by 96 is 0.25. This one only has 2 numbers after the decimal, so that means there won't be any rounding. Here comes step 2. You take your decimal and you multiply it by 100 to find out the percent. So when you're multiplying by 100, you move that decimal 2 spots over so that you end up with 25%. So that's number 7. We're going to do number 8 just in case, because I'd like to do an example that has actual rounding in it. So let's see if number 8 has rounding. On number 8, you've got 48, and you need to find out the percentage of 350. So remember your steps. Step 1, 48 divided by 350. Let's head back to our calculator. 48 divided by 350 is lots of numbers. Okay, we're definitely going to be rounding here. So when you've got all these numbers, take the first 4 digits after the decimal. So 0.1371. Don't worry about the rest, just 4. Equals 1371. 1371. Now step 2, times by 100 to get your percent. So you move the decimal 2 spots so that it's now 13.71. This is where your rounding comes in. The question asks you to find the percentage to the nearest tenth. That's, of course, the 7 is in the 10th column. So you look at the 1. Is the 1 big enough to change the 7 into an 8? No, the 1 is too small. The rounding rule is 5 or higher, round up. It's not higher than 5, so the 7 stays the same, and I end up with 13.7%. I don't need the 1 because the question has asked me to find the percentage to the nearest tenth. So I only want to have that 10th column in there. Now, if that 1 was an 8 or a 6, that would have been big enough to round the 7 up, and then I would have had a different answer. So when you're rounding, don't forget the rounding rule. You're always going to be looking at the second digit to change the 10th column if that second digit is 5 or higher. So that's how you're going to do number 7 all the way down to number 12. When it comes time to doing 13, 14, 15, and 16, these are word problems. Please feel free to get in touch with me on how to do those word problems. Pretty much what you just need to do is this exact thing. You're finding out the percent, but instead of them writing it like this, they've written it with lots of words. So they're same steps. If you have questions, let me know.